We are on the record at 11:01 a.m. on November 17th, 2022. This is the Zoom recording of Lance Hagler. The court reporter is Bonnie Smith. Will counsel please introduce themselves and state any objection to the witness being sworn in remotely?
Matt Sessions, counsel for Mr. Hagler, no objection.
Matthew Gettinger, counsel for Great West Casualty Company, no objection.
Mike Rossetti, counsel for Trimac Transportation, no objection.
James Potts, no objection.
All right, Mr. Hagler, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give in this cause to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Hagler, have you spoken with anyone about your deposition since we concluded part one?
I spoke briefly with my attorneys about deposition protocol and yeah, just very briefly, nothing substantive.
That was about your testimony, or it was not about your testimony?
Just about the rules of deposition. It was not about questions to ask or questions being asked, anything like that, just about rules of deposition. It's a very brief conversation.
Do you know what exhibit we're on, Bonnie?
I was not informed.
Okay, so we'll call this volume 2, exhibit 1. You reviewed any documents since your last deposition?
I briefly reviewed the PowerPoint presentation that you began to show me last week.
Mm-hmm. And are you talking about the PowerPoint presentation that you gave regarding confined space entry?
Yes, sir.
I'll show you what we're going to mark as exhibit 1 to volume 2 of your deposition. Hold on.
You said you're marking as exhibit 2, James?
Say again, please.
Did you say you're marking that as exhibit 2?
No, it's exhibit 1 to volume 2.
Oh, okay.
And I'll do it however you guys want to do it, but
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I
You're
got it right.
Bonnie, you don't have a list of the exhibits from the first part of the deposition?
Honestly, I didn't know there was a first part of the deposition.
Oh, wow. Okay.
James,
Is there a way that we can find that out, or?
If you want to go out, if you want to go off the record for a
Yeah,
minute, I
let's
can
go
call
off
my
for a
office.
minute.
One moment.
hey, James, I can tell.
We're back on the record at 11:06 a.m.
All right, so off the record, we were talking about the exhibits. We have a different court reporter than we had for the first portion of the deposition, and exhibit 1 was a PowerPoint presentation that Mr. Hagler prepared and presented for the on cleaning tank trailers, safety and confined spaces. Is that right, Mr. Hagler?
I didn't prepare the entire presentation, sir.
You presented the entire presentation.
Yes, if memory serves me correct, sir, we were supposed to have two presenters for that presentation. The presenter for half of it had a technical error, and I had to, at the last minute, present his slides, which I did not prepare, and that was not the plan.
Okay, so you did not, your testimony today is you did not prepare the slides?
I didn't prepare all of the slides, sir.
What slides did you not prepare?
We'd have to take a look at it, sir. I'd have to look at it.
Okay. All right, I'm having an issue here. We're going to have to take a 5-minute break.
We're going off the record at 11:08 a.m. We're back on the record at 11:17 a.m.
Mr. Hagler, can you see that screen all right?
Yes, sir.
And this is what we marked as Exhibit 3, which is a portion of a trial transcript in Demetrius Phillips' case. Johnny Rogers testified. Have you seen this before?
No, sir.
It was asked at page 170. I want to know for you to take part of those boxes out of the office, second floor for scanning, you have to have a conversation with someone, right? You didn't just go up there, go ahead. It was our head of safety that allowed it, and it was Lance Hagler. You see that?
Yes, sir.
When we first started your deposition, I asked whether you spoke with Johnny Rogers about removing any boxes of tank entry permits, and you said under oath that you had not. Is that right?
Object to the form.
You may answer.
I don't recall speaking with Mr. Rogers.
So you don't have any idea whether you spoke to him. Is that right?
That's correct.
You see where it reads 23. Do you mind? What was that name? Lance Hagler. That's your name, right?
Yes, sir.
Goes on to read a butcher names about spelling. It would have been the week prior when he was scanning in the office, talking about Lance Hagler. You don't remember scanning documents in the Fairburn office in 2021?
No, sir.
Was he also lying about that?
Object to the
Object to
form.
the form.
You may answer.
I can't speak to his testimony. I can only tell you what I recall and remember.
You could tell me you didn't scan any documents in Atlanta or Fairburn, contrary to Mr. Johnny Rogers' trial testimony in open court under oath. Is that right?
I don't recall scanning any documents in Fairburn or Atlanta.
All right. Have you ever scanned a document in Fairburn or Atlanta?
I don't know.
You don't know whether you've ever scanned a document in Fairburn or Atlanta.
Objection. Form.
Is that your testimony under oath?
That's correct, sir.
All right. Goes on to read scanning the documents in, and they were talking about trying to get them released, and they're not my documents to release. So we had to go through our safety department. And you're charged with the safety department, aren't you?
I'm in the safety department, sir. I'm not head of the safety department.
I thought you testified last time that you were director of safety and security for Trimac North America, which includes the entire United States and Canada. Don't you remember testifying to that?
Object to form.
Yes, sir. But
So
I
who do you answer to as far as the safety department?
I report to our vice president of safety.
All right. So, but you're the director of safety, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're saying that's not your department, though? Safety department. That
Object
was
to
your
form.
testimony.
Object to form again.
You may answer.
Could you ask the question again? I'm sorry, I don't.
Do you
fully
read it
understand
back,
the
please,
question.
Madam Court Reporter? Are you reading something, Mr. Hagler?
No, sir.
Question. Okay, and you're saying that's not your department though, safety director?
I am the safety director for this department. What I'm saying is I am not the head of the department.
So the head of the department is the vice president of safety.
Yes, sir.
What is his name?
His name is Alex Guariento,
You spell that, please?
Guariento.
Have you spoken with him about this deposition?
Not in any substance, sir.
Well, what did you say to him about it when you did speak about it, not in any substance?
That I had a deposition, sir.
All right. That was the extent of your conversation?
Yes, sir.
It goes on to read, and they were talking about trying to get them released, and they're not my documents to release. So we had to go through our safety department to see if that was something that was within realm. And Lance is the main guy in our safety department. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
So when he testified under oath in open court that he spoke with you about these boxes of tank entry permits, you don't have any recollection of that?
I don't recall talking to Mr. Rogers about scanning documents or removing boxes. No, sir.
All right. Who did you speak to about scanning documents or removing boxes?
I don't remember talking to anybody about scanning documents or removing boxes.
All right. So what Johnny Rogers' testimony in that regard is false.
Object to form.
You may answer.
I don't remember this conversation, sir.
That's not my question, sir. Would you read back the question, please, Madam Court Reporter?
Question. All right, so what Johnny Rogers' testimony in that regard is false.
I can't speak to Mr. Rogers' testimony. I can only tell you my recollection of this, and I don't recall talking about scanning documents or moving boxes, sir.
Your recollection is it didn't happen.
That's correct, sir.
And Johnny Rogers testified under oath that it did happen.
I don't know that, sir. I'm reading a document here in front of me. You're telling me that. I haven't spoken
sir.
with Mr. Rogers.
Right, but this is his trial testimony, and you, like you said, you can read that, right?
Yes, sir.
And that is what he testified to, right?
That's what's on the page, sir. That
Yes,
is
sir.
appears
And
what
that
he,
is false, according to your recollection, right?
according to my,
Object to form. You can answer, sir.
You may
according to
answer.
according to my recollection, yes, sir.
That is false.
I don't
That's-
remember this happening, sir.
Yes, sir. It goes on to read that you approved the removal of those boxes of tank entry permits. You see that? Line 13. Lance is the main guy in our safety department, so he approved it. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall approving the removal of tank entry permits? Boxes of them, 30 or so boxes of them.
No, sir.
So his testimony in that regard is also false.
Object to the form.
You may answer.
I don't recall approving removing boxes or scanning documents.
You also do not recall approving the removal of the boxes of tank entry permits, right?
No, sir.
And that's, so his testimony where he says that you approve that is false.
Object to the form.
You may answer.
According to my recollection, I don't recall this occurring.
Yes, sir. Which would make that testimony false, right?
Object to the form.
You may answer.
I can't say whether or not it's false. I can't speak to Mr. Rogers' memory. I can only speak to mine, sir.
Right. Well, you understand that you have to tell the truth at these depositions, right?
Check the
Absolutely,
form.
sir.
And that, you know, the person that gets in trouble for false testimony is not your lawyers. It's the deponent who's under oath, right?
Object to form.
You're aware of that?
Object to form.
Yes, sir.
You're the one that's sworn, not those lawyers, right?
Object to form.
Yes, sir.
And your freedom's important to you, of course, right?
Object to form.
What's so funny about this, Mr. Rossetti?
Nothing's funny
You
about
got
this,
dead men and
Mr. Potts,
witnesses lying in open
Mr.
court.
Potts,
What's
there's
funny
nothing
about
funny
that,
about any
Mr.
of this,
Rossetti?
except that you keep asking him the same questions over and over again about whether or not he
You
understands.
may
the
answer.
code.
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Would you read it back, please, Madam Court Reporter?
The last question was, and your freedom is important to you, of course, right?
Yes, sir.
And so do you think that Johnny Rogers just made this stuff up?
Object to form.
You may answer.
I don't know anything about Mr. Rogers' testimony. All I can tell you is I don't remember this conversation or approval occurring.
You don't remember it because it didn't happen.
Object to the form.
You may answer.
I don't remember it happening, sir.
All right. That was Exhibit 3, right, Madam Court Reporter?
That's correct.
Exhibit 10 actually is what you.
Or
labeled it.
10, yeah, let's just pick one. So we're gonna, is that 10?
It will be 10.
Thank you. Do you recall conversations about boxes containing thousands of tank entry permits being removed from Trimac Fairburn?
No, sir.
You didn't have any conversations about those with anyone. Is that your testimony?
The only conversations about tank entry permits that I can recall is producing them for an OSHA inspection. So removing them from the premises or removing boxes. I don't recall anything like that, sir.
All right, what OSHA inspection was that?
I believe it was at the end of 2020, sir. There was an OSHA inspection.
Yes, sir.
Many documents were requested. Exactly what all those documents were, I can't recall. I do recall there being some tank entry documents that were requested, and I vaguely remember having some conversations about providing those to OSHA. With who, I don't recall.
All right. Show you what we'll mark as Exhibit 11 to your deposition. This is Johnny Rogers' testimony. You haven't seen any of this, is that right?
Other than what you showed me just a few minutes ago, no, sir.
Okay. He goes on for pages here about scanning documents. You have zero recollection of that. Is that right?
That's correct. I don't recall a conversation about scanning documents.
Reads here, and we're, for the record, this is page 165 of Exhibit 11. It reads, the 25 boxes of tank entry permits, I actually helped bring them downstairs, bring them over to the printer, and you scanned there at Trimac. I did not, but somebody else did right there. We were scanning and he says that was you. You don't have any recollection of that. Is that right?
Object to the form.
You may answer.
No, sir.
Says they scanned for about a week. No recollection of that. Page 166 for the record.
No, sir.
Loading boxes into trucks and a car. 25 boxes or so. No recollection of that.
No, sir.
You didn't participate in the removal of any banker's boxes of tank entry permits. Is that right?
That's correct. I did not participate in that, sir.
Just for the record, James, are we on exhibit 10 again? Not
11.
Exhibit 11. Okay. Exhibit 10 was the transcript from Johnny's testimony.
I can barely hear you, Matthew. Can you speak? Hold on, let me turn my.
I'm sorry. Exhibit 10 was the transcript from Johnny's testimony, and are these different documents?
10 was
This
an
is a
excerpt.
transcript. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
10 was a small piece. This is a larger document.
Okay. I got
Yeah,
it.
10
Thank
was
you.
an excerpt of the same document.
Thank you.
It
I
dealt
got you. Thank you.
specific. Go ahead. That dealt specifically with the conversations with Lance Hagler and the scanning.
All right. Thank you. I got it.
And then this is the discussion of what went on without, again, naming Lance Hagler.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. So the OSHA inspections that you provided tank entry permits for, do you know how many boxes of tank entry permits you provided?
Object to form.
You may answer.
No, sir.
And all the tank entry permits are also stored electronically, is that right?
I think some of them are stored electronically, sir.
Which some of them?
I don't know.
Why are only some of them stored electronically?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the process.
Yes, sir. But you comply with your tank entry permit document retention requirement, is that right?
Object to form.
I don't know how we store those documents locally, sir. I don't work in Fairburn or Atlanta.
All right, I'm going to show you what is marked as Exhibit 12, which is your confined space entry manual, which I believe we also marked as Exhibit 1. But we'll make certain of that. We're going to go down to page 14 of Exhibit 12. This is also, for the record, C3 Exhibit 51013. So this is Exhibit 5 to Ken Cooper's deposition as well. You see here it reads 3.2 confined space entry permits. That's what we're talking about. And this is your manual regarding confined space entry. Is that right? We went through this last time.
Yes, sir.
And this is, there is not another confined space entry manual. This is it, right?
Correct, sir.
Reads here 3.2.1 documentation, subsection E, confined space permits are to be kept on file for 10 years. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you agree that that's a requirement at Trimac
Yes, sir.
and that Trimac complied with that requirement?
I don't know if we complied with that requirement at Fairburn or Atlanta.
Do you, any reason to believe that Trimac destroyed documents?
I don't have any reason to believe that. No, sir.
Which means they would have, if they complied with this from 2019, they would have those documents back to at least 2009. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
We talked about what are called CPLs last time. Did you get a chance to look and see what that means or not so much?
No, sir.
I'm going to show you what is marked as exhibit. I picked up the document. This is exhibit 13 to your deposition. See this Ocean Regional Instruction, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, directive number CPL 202000032. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Here's what I found.
I didn't hear a response if you made one.
To what question, sir? I didn't realize there was a question.
Did you read back the question, please, Madam Court Reporter?
Do you see this OSHA Regional Instruction, Occupational Safety and Health Administration Directive number CPL 202000032? Do you see that? Answer yes, sir.
You've never seen this before today, is that right?
That's correct, sir.
If we flip on down to, this is page 2 of that OSHA directive. You see where it reads transportation tanks, and that's what you gave the talk on, transportation tanks. You call them tank trailers, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Meet the definition of a confined space as stated in 29 CFR 1910.146, permit required confined spaces. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you agree with that? That's part of your presentation.
I think your question from before was if they were permit required confined spaces, and I'm saying that I don't know that they're a permit required confined space every time.
Well, in your presentation, you said that you were required to have a tank entry permit before entering one, right?
I don't recall that part of the presentation, sir. That presentation was from 5 years ago, and I looked at it very briefly.
All right, we'll come back to that. So I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit. I'm going to call this, I believe it's 14. I believe you testified that Ken Cooper was your expert on confined spaces. Is that right?
Object to form.
You may answer.
Yes, sir.
This is page 35 of Ken Cooper's deposition in Demetrius Phillips' case. Have you read this deposition before today?
No, sir.
He was asked at page 35. Do you see the 35 up in the upper right corner?
Yes, sir.
At line 18, you agree that tank entry permits are required to enter a tank truck. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
You see his answer?
Is his answer what's highlighted, sir?
Do you see the Q&A, sir?
I see a number of Q&As.
Yes, sir. Do you see one Q is followed by one A?
Which line?
First, answer my question. Do you see the Qs are followed by As?
Object to form.
You may answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And any idea what the Q stands for?
I would assume that means question.
And any idea what that capital A stands for?
I would assume that means answer.
Yes, sir. And the question I just read you, lines 18 and 19, that has a Q to the left, right?
Yes, sir.
And that means question, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's highlighted.
Yes, sir.
And it reads, you agree that tank entry permits are required to enter a tank truck. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Tank truck, that's what you called a tank trailer in your presentation, right?
Yes, sir.
And you see the answer immediately beneath that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cooper's answer is yes. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
He doesn't say yes sometimes. Does he?
No, sir.
Doesn't say that depends. Does he?
No, sir.
Doesn't say depends on what's in the truck tank.
That's correct, sir.
Doesn't read anything like that, right?
That's correct, sir.
In fact, it says exactly what's in the OSHA regulations, the federal law, and the directive that made it abundantly clear that I just showed you that says tank entry permits are required to enter a tank truck, right?
Object to form.
You may answer.
Yes, sir.
Have you spoken with Ken Cooper since we started your deposition?
No, sir.
Oh, did I not get 13, Bonnie?
I didn't have it uploaded.
How about that?
Okay.
All right. And we'll call this exhibit 14. Thank you, Bonnie. If you look down at page, well, let's go back. to the top, you see this? This is another compliance directive published by OSHA. Do you see that? CPL 04000028.
Yes, sir.
You've never seen that before today, is that right?
I don't believe I've seen this before. No, sir.
All right. And if we go down to page 2 of that document, do you see that?
I see page 2. Yes.
Yes, sir. In 29 CFR 1910.146, you've seen that federal regulation, right?
Yes, sir.
That federal regulation has been around since 1993, right?
I don't know when the regulation was put into place.
Well, I'll give you a hint. It was 1993. And it still reads the same way it did in 1993 regarding entering these truck tanks. You didn't know that either?
I didn't know the regulation has not changed since 1993, sir.
Of course, 1993 came before 2006, right?
Yes, sir.
It reads transportation tanks, and that's the same as what you call tank trailers, right? In your presentation.
Yes, sir.
Meet the definition of a confined space as stated in 29 CFR 1910.146, comma, permit required confined spaces. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
That's the same thing Ken Cooper testified to in his deposition at page 35, right?
Object to form.
You may answer.
I don't know what Mr. Cooper was looking at when he testified in his deposition, sir.
Sir, did my question say anything about what Ken Cooper was looking at?
Object to form. If you're going to ask him questions about another document, you need to show him the document, please.
Do you understand my question?
No, sir.
Could you read it back, please, Madam Court Reporter?
Question, that's the same thing Ken Cooper testified to in his deposition at page 35, right?
Same objection. If you're going to talk to him about a document, you need to show him the and ask him referring to a document, you need to show him the document.
Sir, I don't know what Mr. Cooper was speaking to when he made the statements that you showed me just a little bit ago.
All right. Well, we'll pull it back up. I think that was 12, is that right?
Mr. Cooper's deposition was exhibit 14 and this last CPL was exhibit 15.
All right, thank you. You remember that question from like 3 minutes ago?
Yes, sir.
Reads, you agree that tank entry permits are required to enter a tank truck, right?
Yes, sir.
And you know what a tank entry permit is, right?
Yes, sir.
You know what a tank truck is?
Yes, sir.
And it reads yes. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And Ken Cooper's your expert on tank washes and tank entry permits. Is that right?
Object to form.
Yes, sir.
And how long has he been your expert on tank entry permits?
I don't know.
All right. I'm going to show you what we're going to, so we're up to 16 now, is that right?
Exhibit 16, yes.
Thank you. Exhibit 16.
James, I don't think 13 or 15 made it to the chat, by the way.
Let's see.
You don't have to do it right now. I just.
Oh, they're going to Bonnie. I apologize. Do you have the other ones? And I'll send them.
I've got everything but 13 and 15.
All right. All right. Is that it?
Yes, I believe so. And then whatever you're going to show them now, I guess 16.
It's fine. So what's been previously marked as exhibit 16. This is a $225,000 EPA sanction for the Trimac facility in Fairburn alone for chemical safety violations. You remember this?
I remember that there was a citation from the EPA. I don't remember the specifics of the amount, and I wasn't involved with the response.
What was your involvement with this?
I didn't have any involvement, sir.
Okay. This was signed by Lana Hurt. Do you know Lana Hurt?
Lana Hurl was our prior legal counsel.
Okay. That was on June 5th, 2020.
That's what it says, sir. Yes.
Did you ever speak with her about this?
I don't think I've ever spoken with Miss Hurl about an EPA fine.
Did you speak with anyone else about it?
Other than passing conversations about the fact that it occurred, no, sir.
All right. Have you ever read this document?
No, sir.
Sure thing. Let me show you what's been previously marked. Is this 17, Madam Court Reporter?
That's correct.
It's been previously marked as exhibit number 17. You ever seen this document before?
I don't know if I've ever seen this particular document, sir.
But this is a tank entry permit. You've seen them before, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And Ken Cooper testified as well that it reads up here, hazard evaluation report and hot work permit. And it's also known as a tank entry permit, right?
Check the form.
You may answer.
Yes, sir. That's how I refer to it.
Yes, sir. And this one has a number in the upper right corner there, sequentially numbered. Is that right?
Yes, I see 324394.
Thank you. And the one that would come before that is 324393.
Yes, sir.
And the one that would come after it is 324395. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And these are numbered sequentially like that. So if you get to 394 and then the next one is not until, 350, there's some tank entry permits that are missing. Is that right?
Check the form.
You may answer.
I don't know if that's the way that it works. They could be just in a drawer and we could grab one that's not next in line. I'm not exactly sure how they're stored locally.
You're aware that they're on pads?
No, sir. I didn't realize they were on a pad.
These are in what, triplicate, right? There's a white and a yellow and a pink copy. Is that right?
I do know that there are carbon copies. Yes, sir.
Okay. Carbon, there's not an actual piece of carbon paper between them, but from the top document transfers to the next document. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know whether there are 2 or 3? I've heard both. And if you don't know, that's fine.
I don't know, sir.
And it reads up in the upper left, Trimac. This is a Trimac form. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Prepared by Trimac and printed by Trimac. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And these are what are completed prior to entry into a truck tank.
Yes, sir.
And it reads, it is potentially harmful to human health to enter a hazardous confined space. You agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Or to be exposed to dangerous substances. You agree with that as well?
Yes, sir.
The company policy prohibits any employee from entering tanks or handling dangerous substances without the written consent of the company. You see that?
Yes, sir.
And that's contained on this form, right?
Yes, sir.
Goes on to read the date, the upper where it reads date, that's the date of the entry. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then it's got a unit number. And that unit number stands for that what's being cleaned, that tank.
That's my understanding, sir.
And the time, that's the time of the tank entry.
I don't know if that's the time of the tank
It's a
entry.
good, or the time the form is completed. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Well, you have to complete the form before entering the truck tank, right?
Yes, sir.
So this time could be earlier than the time the entrant, it's called an entrant, actually enters the truck tank, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's what you may remember from the confined space entry manual we discussed last time, the requirements, the Trimac requirements, that someone entering a semi-truck tank is called an entrant. You agree with that?
Yes, sir.
And then after the time, it reads the branch. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And branch 345, that's Atlanta.
I'm not familiar with all of our branch numbers, sir.
branch 678, is that Fairburn?
I don't know.
All right. And the product hauled last, you see that?
Yes, sir.
That's styrene, right?
Yes, sir.
And you agree that that's a hazardous chemical?
I believe styrene is a hazardous material.
Yes, sir. Hazardous material. Were you also aware that it is a known carcinogen or cancer causing material?
Object to form.
You may answer.
No, sir.
It says duration of permit, 2 hours, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's the maximum duration of any tank entry permit.
I don't remember the maximum duration from the policy, sir. I'd have to review that.
Under federal law, I mean, you cannot stay in a confined space, one of these truck tanks, for longer than 2 hours without coming out and getting a new permit. Is that right?
Object to form.
I don't know.
All right. Goes on to read characteristic of product hauled last. You see that? Refer to material safety data sheet.
Yes, sir.
I think you referred to that as an SDS, which stands for safety data sheet.
Yes, sir.
And before that, they were called what, MSDSs for material safety data sheet.
Yes, sir.
Same document, they just changed the name. Right?
Yes, sir.
It reads other, it reads non-haz. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
And non-haz stands for non-hazardous. Is that right?
That's the way I interpret that. Yes, sir.
So according to this tank entry permit, styrene is a non-hazardous material.
Object to form.
You may answer.
According to this document, that's what's marked. Yes.
And you agree that that's inaccurate, that styrene is in fact a hazardous material, right?
Yes, sir.
It reads reason for entering truck tank other, it reads thickness. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that styrene can react with air, water, other things and thicken?
No, sir.
Well, how does styrene become thick? What's your understanding, if you know?
I don't know, sir.
Right. It goes on, you see, it's reason for entering tank, cleaning, reopening, hot work, other thickness. When you're cleaning a tank, you check the cleaning box. Is that right?
Well, it's already been cleaned when somebody goes in here. But if it needs
how?
further cleaning, then yes.
But I think in your presentation, you said that a tank entry was required because a tank's got to be inspected after it's cleaned too, right?
It could need inspection after it's cleaned, sir.
Well, you said the inspection was required. Remember that?
I don't remember that. My understanding is it depends on the product and the situation.
All right. And then there are, do you see these next sections are numbered 1 to 15? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You may make that a little bigger.
That would be great. Yeah, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Remove, 1 is remove all caps and plugs, open manifolds, valves and domes, and disconnect or blank off all supply lines. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And by blank off, is that the same as block off or?
I don't know.
Okay. 2, determine cleaning or purging activities performed since the trailer was used last. You see that? No boxes are checked on this one. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
3, test each trailer compartment, discharge valve, loading lines, all voided sections, and record last results as follows. Each test must be repeated at intervals not to exceed 2 hours. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
And that's the 2 hours that we were talking about earlier. If you have to test again every 2 hours, right?
Yes, sir.
Tester has verified the motor is calibrated and is properly functioning per manufacturer's recommendations. You see that's checked, right?
Yes, sir. I think that says, I read that as meter.
Say again, please.
You said tester has verified the motor. I read that as meter.
Oh, meter. Thank you. Testers verified the meter is calibrated and is properly functioning per manufacturer's recommendations. You see that?
Yes, sir.
And then it reads tester pretest, and this is the first column in section 3. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Then it's got oxygen and all these, all the way pretest, first, second, third, fourth test are all 20.9. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
And then explosive, we've got a 0. So apparently the contents were not explosive. Is that right?
I see the readings are 0 and they're marked 0, sir.
Yes, sir. And then we've got toxic. Do you see that third line down?
Yes, sir.
And see over on the right, as per data sheet, that's a safety data sheet, right?
That's how I would interpret that, sir.
Yes, sir. And you would also interpret that to mean to test toxicity, you have to test the chemical that was in the truck tank.
I don't know.
Do you remember going through the confined space entry manual?
Yes, sir.
And in addition to the Venice Pro, you also have to test for the chemical that's in the truck tank, right?
Object to
In
form.
this
If
case,
you are going to,
styrene.
if you object
Is
to
that right?
form, if you are going to refer him to a document and what it says, you need to show him the document, please.
You may answer.
No. If he wants to refer to the document, you need to show him the document. You've told him what a document says, he needs to be able to see it.
You may answer, Mr. Hagler.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Would you read it back, please, Madam Court Reporter?
Question, and in addition to the Ventus Pro, you also have to test for the chemical that's in the truck tank, right?
I don't know, sir.
Do you remember going through the confined space entry manual?
I do. Yes, sir.
And do you remember talking about testing for the chemical and that, you know, if the Venice Pro wouldn't do it, tubes would be required? Remember that?
Object to. Sorry, are you finished with your question?
Yes.
Object to form. If you are going to refer to the document, the witness has the right to review the document.
I'd like to see on the policy where you're speaking to.
All right. This was labeled, we've marked this a couple of times. Do you know what number this is, Madam Court Reporter?
I believe it's exhibit 12 to this deposition.
Thank you. This is the confined space entry. Remember discussing this last time?
Yes, sir.
Want to look at page 19? Do you see that?
I don't see the page number in my view.
How about now?
Yes, sir. I see page 19.
And do you see where it reads, there are two common instrument types that can be used to conduct atmospheric testing prior to confined space entry: a direct reading instrument, a Ventus Pro, and gas detector tubes, which are used for toxins that can't be detected by the Ventus sensors. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
You remember the manual also cautions you against using a Ventus Pro for chemicals that can't be tested. Right?
Can you show me where it says that, sir?
Sure. Referring to page 8.
Mm-hmm.
You see at the top, this is section 1.3, authorized entrant. You remember talking about authorized entrants?
Yes, sir.
And these are requirements of an entrant. The responsibility of the entrant are. Do you see that at page 7 under 1.3?
Yes, sir.
And if you go down to G, which is continued on to page 8, test the atmosphere inside the confined space prior to entry and record the results on the entry permit. You see that?
Yes, sir.
That's required before you enter a semi-truck tank, right?
Yes, sir.
Not sometimes, not maybe, not, well, if you feel like it. It's a requirement before you enter a truck tank, right?
Object to form?
You may answer.
Yes, sir.
And it goes on to read, complete the confined space entry permit. We're looking at one of those now, right?
Yes, sir.
And it also reads, use a properly functioning gas detection monitor while inside of a confined space, right?
Yes, sir.
If we go on over to page 10, this is very important. I want you to, if you have any, stop me if you don't understand my question. But do you see under D, the last item? These are hazardous categories, atmospheric. The atmosphere, that's still in the semi-truck tank, right?
Yes, sir.
Airborne hazards and toxic substances. Ensure the use of the appropriate instruments. Only, do you see that only in bold?
Yes, sir.
That's bolded in the original document, right?
Yes, sir.
So Ken Cooper, you testified earlier that, you knew he read this document. When he read this document, he knew that only specific instruments can detect specific gases, right?
Object to form?
You may
I don't know what Ken Cooper knows, sir. I can only speak to the document that's in front of me.
Okay, the document in front of you, read that last line where it begins, ensure, out loud.
Ensure the use of appropriate instruments. Only specific instruments can detect specific gases.
Is there anything unclear about that single line of text?
No, sir.
All right. In other words, if you've got a tank that had styrene in it, you have to test for styrene, right?
Object to form?
You may answer.
I don't know that's what it says, sir. It says specific instruments can detect specific gases. It doesn't specifically speak to testing a particular chemical.
Well, where does the gas come from if it doesn't come from that chemical?
I don't know.
But where else could it come from?
I don't know.
So is it your testimony as the director for safety and security for Trimac North America, which includes the United States and Canada, that you don't understand this one line at page 10 that reads, ensure the use of the appropriate instruments, only specific instruments can detect specific gases? A document that was prepared by Trimac and labeled as the confined space entry requirements for employees prior to entering a semi-truck tank.
Object to form.
You may answer.
No, sir.
No, sir, what?
You asked if it was my testimony that I didn't understand that line.
Yes, sir. So you do understand what that line, the way it reads?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it says you test for specific gases, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And if the specific gas is styrene, then you have to test for styrene, right?
Object to form.
You may answer.
I don't know. Styrene's a chemical. I don't know what gases it puts off.
Right. And you're not going to know without a device that can test it, right?
I don't know.
Okay. You're not going to know what gases are in a truck tank where styrene was hauled without testing for those gases, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And you're not going to be able to do that with your nose. You agree with that, right?
Yes, sir.
Or not safely, right?
Correct, sir.
So you have to use a device that will test for styrene.
I don't know if we have to use a device that tests for styrene specifically.
Didn't we go? We just went through this, right?
Yes,
Object
sir.
to form.
And you don't remember your testimony?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And you remember that you, the tank entry permit requires testing for gases, right?
Yes, sir.
Then if we move on over to page 12. The manual of these testing requirements is again here, right? See again, this reads 2.6.3 atmospheric testing, right?
Yes, sir.
Reference section 3.3 atmospheric testing frequency. Atmospheric testing using a calibrated direct reading instrument must be conducted prior to confined space entry. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
B, carries on to page 13. Direct reading instruments are limited to the sensor types installed. For detection of other hazardous substances, then appropriate gas detector tubes must be used. Remember that now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So read B aloud.
Direct reading instruments are limited to the sensor types installed. For detection of other hazardous substance, then appropriate gas detector tubes must be used.
You see where it reads must be used. It doesn't say that's an option, right?
Yes, sir.
It doesn't say the tank entry does that if he feels like it, right?
Correct, sir.
And these are all requirements. You remember when we started this?
Yes, sir.
These are all requirements, right?
Yes, sir.
So it says a gas detection tube must be used, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you're going into a truck tank that has styrene, or like the federal law says, may have styrene, you have to test for styrene, right?
Object to form.
You may
For
answer.
federal law, you probably want to show them federal law.
No more speaking objections. You may answer.
Not a speaking objection. It's
We're gonna do this until it's done. You're trying to stall a deposition. You have at it, Mr. Rossetti. I mean, this deposition is going to a number of people. And
That is- that
I'm
is
sure you're
absolutely
acutely
fine.
aware of it. Hell, I hope you are. Go ahead, answer the question.
Mr. Potts is absolutely fine. He has the right, if you're going to refer to a document. or
You may
statute,
answer the question.
He has the right to review whatever you're referring to.
I would like to see the.
Is that an
regulation that
objection,
you're
Mr.
speaking to.
Rossetti?
Yes, I raised the objection
not-
and then
yeah,
you told me that it
you're-
wasn't
you're-
an objection.
You're deemed to know the law. If you don't know it, you don't know it. Just tell me you don't know the law.
That's not the question. You're objecting to your question again. That was not the question that you asked him.
Do you not know the law?
Can you repeat the original question that we're talking
Can you
about
read it
again, sir?
back, please, Madam Court Reporter.
Question, so if you're going into a truck tank that has styrene, or like the federal law says may have styrene, you have to test for styrene, right?
My answer is I don't know.
Okay. You don't know the federal law, is that right?
I don't know the language of the federal law that you're talking about, sir.
Well, you looked at the CPLs earlier, right?
Yes,
And do you remember the language in those?
you'd have to show me again. That was the first time I'd ever seen that document.
Isn't this
sir.
part of your job as the Director of Safety for North America? If you've got men cleaning semi-truck tanks, how much money did Trimac make cleaning semi-truck tanks last year?
Object to form is a compound question.
You may answer.
I don't know.
Was it over 100 million?
I don't know.
Over 200 million?
Objection, asked and answered.
I don't know.
Okay. We go, you remember page 19?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can take your time and read it. 4.2, gas detection equipment. Read that aloud, please.
There are two common instrument types that can be used to conduct atmospheric testing prior to confined space entry. A direct reading instrument, i.e. Ventus Pro, and gas detector tubes, which are used for toxins that can't be detected by the Ventus sensors. Prior to using detector tubes, use the Ventus to determine if desired readings are found within the confined space. Once confirmed, proceed to use the tube to detect the gases in question.
All right. Any questions about what you just read, Mr. Hagler?
No, sir.
It says you use the Ventus Pro first, right?
Yes, sir.
Just like you testified last time, right?
Yes, sir.
And then after you use the Ventus Pro for gases that it won't detect, like styrene, use a gas detection tube, right?
Yes, sir.
And these are requirements for an entrant prior to entering a semi-truck tank, right?
Yes, sir.
4.2.1, Ventus Pro only detects specific gases for which sensors are installed, right? 4.2.1a,
Yes, sir.
4.2.2, gas detector tubes detect specific gases only, right?
Yes, sir.
Want to go back to the tank entry permit. This was exhibit number, I don't know. What exhibit is this, please, Madam Court Reporter?
I believe it's exhibit 12.
The tank entry permit?
Hmm,
I think it may be
which,
6.
which one is it?
The last one before they wanted to talk about the confined space entry manual again.
That would be Exhibit 17.
17, thank you. Referring again to tank entry permit 324394, which is Exhibit 17 to your deposition. Do you see where it reads toxic?
Yes,
Under
sir.
item 3, it's got zeros all through there, right?
Yes, sir.
And if styrene was the product last hauled, and there's no tube to test for styrene, then you have no way of knowing whether the toxic level is 0, right?
I don't know that.
All right, well, how would you know it without testing for it?
I don't know.
Okay, you're not going to know without testing for it, right?
I don't know, sir.
And time of entry, anticipated time of exit 2:05, and lo and behold, that's of course 2 hours, right?
Yes, sir.
Because that's a maximum time an entrant can be in that truck tank, right?
Objection asked and answered.
Yes, sir.
Without testing again. I mean, it's right there on the form. We just read it, right?
Yes, sir.
Then we go on down to paragraph 5. If the above tests indicate acceptable levels for human survival, test ventilation equipment and position equipment in confined space to be entered, right?
Yes, sir.
If the above tests indicate non-compliant limits, only entry to the tank is not permitted under any condition, right?
Yes, sir.
So for a chemical like styrene, when you test for it, you would see whether there was positive test, and if so, you would have to compare that to what the safety level limit is, right?
Objective form.
I don't know. Can you re-ask that question? I didn't understand.
Sure. Do you mind reading that back, please, Madam Court Reporter?
Question, so for a chemical like styrene, when you test for it, you would see whether there are positive tests, and if so, you would have to compare that to what the safety level limit is, right?
I don't know.
Okay. You know what an IDHL is?
We went over this at the last deposition. I don't remember the exact.
Immediate danger to life and health.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And you've got to be below those levels, otherwise you're not permitted to enter, right?
Yes, sir.
And those levels are contained in a lot of places. One of them is the safety data sheet, right?
I believe so, sir.
Going down to 6, if the above tests indicate non-complying limits, only entry to the tank is not permitted under any condition. You agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Visually inspect all safety and rescue equipment to ensure it is operating. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
You agree with that, right? That's also a requirement.
Yes, sir.
Individuals entering any tank must wear the rescue harness, the line, and other personal protective equipment, and carry with them an explosion-proof light. The attendant observer must have an air horn. You agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Requirements, right?
Yes, sir.
And what was this lists all the PPE, right? That's personal protective equipment.
Yes, sir.
And it reads hearing protection. That's earplugs or something to protect your ears, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. And I know we all do that, but it's very difficult for the court reporter to take that down. So is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Then right here, leather work boots. That's also PPE.
Yes,
And other light and thickness tester. Is that right?
yes, sir.
And do you know what a thickness tester is?
I have a general idea, sir.
All right, what is it?
It's a device used to measure the thickness of the tank trailer itself.
All right. Then it goes on to read, so in your view, this is for repair, is that right?
It's for testing.
Testing. What, and you're testing the tank for what?
For thickness of the tank itself, for stability.
All right. The lifeline of the harness must be anchored outside the tank. You see that?
Yes, sir.
You agree that that's a requirement for entry?
Yes, sir.
10, do not remain in confined space for periods exceeding 2 hours. You agree with it that that's also a requirement?
Yes, sir.
Under no circumstances can you remain in for over 2 hours. You have to come out, right?
Yes, sir.
Review emergency and rescue procedures outlined on the reverse side of this form with the individual who is to act as the observer, right?
Yes, sir.
Enter the item 12, enter the tank only after the observer is in place. Request required tests. You see that? Test plural or completed. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And those would be to test the atmosphere and for toxins, right? Toxicity.
That's part of the test. Yes, sir.
That's what it's got up here. Oxygen, explosive limits, LEL, and toxic, right?
Yes, sir.
It goes on to read, enter the item 13, the observer must remain in verbal and or visual contact throughout the duration of occupancy in the tank, right?
Yes, sir.
Then this bold item 14, record any problems that occur during the course of the tank entry on the reverse of this form. Also a requirement.
Yes, sir.
If any problems are noted, a copy of this report must go to the Health and Safety Committee. Depending upon the severity of the problem, a fact finding may be required. That's also a requirement, right?
Yes, sir.
This is, I've read and understand the foregoing procedures and requirements, signatures, and this is the tank entrant. Is that right?
I can't read that underneath the top signature, sir.
Okay. And then it's reviewed and signed off by a supervisor. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then that's your tank entry permit.
Yes, sir.
Let's show you what's been marked as, is this 18, Madam Court Reporter?
That's correct.
This is your presentation. Remember this?
Yes, sir.
And this, your presentation is entitled Cleaning Tank Trailers, Safety and Confined Spaces, right?
Yes, sir.
And the NTTC stands for what?
National Tank Truck Carriers.
Yes, sir. And TTU stands for what?
Tank Truck University.
So this is a presentation for Tank Truck University.
Yes,
And the National Tank Truck Carriers.
yes,
It was presented by you, Lance Hagler. Is that right?
and Dan Wright.
Yes, sir. Well, Lance Hagler at Trimac Transportation, right?
Yes, sir.
That was your employer at the time.
Yes, sir.
And you gave this presentation on March 23rd, 2017.
I don't recall the date, but that is the date that's on the presentation, sir.
And cleaning trailers, safety and confined spaces. That's the title of your presentation, your talk.
Yes, sir.
And this is your title, Lance Hagler, North American Director, Safety and Security, Trimac Transportation, right?
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that prompted this talk was tank cleaning fatalities. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you had some tank cleaning fatalities at Trimac Transportation.
Object
These
to the
two-
form.
Answer.
These two fatalities were not at Trimac, sir.
But you had some at Trimac Transportation as well, right?
Yes.
Do you remember how many you had in 2017?
I don't believe we had any in 2017, sir.
$2016. How many did you have in 2016?
None to my knowledge, sir.
2016 tank entry fatalities. This is where you discuss some men who died while cleaning tankers. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I believe we discussed this last time, right?
Yes, sir.
The common hazards in tank washing. That's one of the slides in your presentation, right?
Yes, sir.
And it reads at the bottom, chemical presence
Yes, sir.
and confined space entry.
Yes, sir.
And chemical presence is a common hazard because there are hazardous chemicals that are cleaned out of these truck tanks. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And they're cleaned out of these truck tanks by the folks in the wash rack.
And the equipment in the wash rack. Yes, sir.
With the equipment in the wash rack. Is that?
Yes, sir.
And also it's a confined space entry. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And there's only one way in and one way out.
In most trailer setups, yes, sir.
Well, that's a quote from you. Do you remember in your talk, you said there's only one way in and one way out?
I don't remember everything that I said in this presentation from 5 years ago, sir.
And I didn't ask you whether you remembered everything. Do you remember saying that?
I don't remember that, sir.
All right. And what are some other reasons that chemical presence is a common hazard in tank washing?
In some instances in the industry, people have been known to go into the trailer without testing the atmosphere.
Right. without testing the atmosphere for what?
The atmosphere for hazards.
Okay, including the hazards for the chemicals that are hauled in the tanks, right?
It could be, yes, sir.
Have you ever scanned a tank entry permit?
I don't remember scanning a tank entry permit, sir.
So you have no recollection of ever scanning a tank entry document at any Trimac location, right?
That's correct, sir.
Who do you answer to that may have approved the removal of some 30 boxes of tens of thousands of tank entry permits from Trimac Fairburn?
Object to form.
Object to form.
You may answer.
I report to Alex Guariento, but I don't know that he approved any boxes to be removed or scanned.
That's the only person you report to.
Yes, sir.
What documents do you have that claim that Ken Cooper is an expert on confined space entry?
Object to form.
Let's name all the documents,
I don't know.
but just name any document. Name a single document that suggests that Ken Cooper is an expert on confined space entry.
Object to form.
I don't know of a document, sir.
Okay. Flipping over to the next page. Why is confined space entry tank cleaning? Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
According to your presentation, you said confined space entry. That was a required in the industry, a requirement of the industry, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's because you gotta clean the tanks, right?
Yes, sir.
You have to investigate if the tank is truly empty.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember clean, dry, and odor free?
Yes, sir.
That's what Trimac, the chemical companies want semi-truck tanks that are clean, dry, and odor free, and that's what Trimac delivers, right?
Many of our chemical customers require clean, dry, and odor-free. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And in order to do that, you've got to go in the semi-truck tank to ensure that it's clean, dry, and odor-free, right?
At times, we have to go in there and verify. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And that's also known as bare metal clean, right?
Yes, sir.
And you have to go in to determine the extent of cleaning needed, right?
You could. Yes, sir.
Well, that's a requirement, right?
I don't know.
Well, you understand, there's a chemical remaining in the truck tank. To know that, you have to go in the truck tank, right?
I don't know.
Well, you've got to determine the extent of cleaning needed. That's what confined space entry, that's why it's required, right?
Objection is asked and answered the question.
You may answer.
I don't know, sir.
Well, that's part of your presentation.
Object to form.
That's on the slide, sir. I don't remember the context in which I was discussing this.
All right, let's pull it up.
The performance was enchanting.
See that all right?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Boyd Stevenson with the National Tank Truck Carriers, and welcome to our webinar, Cleaning Tank Trailers, Safety in Confined Spaces. This afternoon's webinar is the I will be right in touch.
Going to see today. So a couple of things that I wanted to mention before we get started is that this webinar is not meant to be a training or.
Is that your voice?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
So I'm going to start. This is for the record. First of all, this is the YouTube video for your presentation. The web address is https://www.youtube.com/watch?V as in Victor equal IHWON 91 RORL 2.WEB LOC.
So we talked about why we do confined space, what hazards are available in it, or what hazard present in.
Can we get this down, Madam Court Reporter? Or if no,
I don't usually take down
Let's talk about
video.
confined space itself and why is that even risky? A few reasons. One, the worker can't easily escape.
is that your voice, Mr. Hagler?
Yes, sir.
For the record, we're at 10:50 of 50 of your 53-minute 41-second presentation.
We're really talking about a permit required confined space for the purpose of this webinar. And what OSHA defines as a permit required confined space is a few elements here. So it contains or has the potential to contain a hazardous atmosphere. It contains a material that has the potential for engulfing the person who's inside. And also it contains some other hazards that we may not be able to distinguish, that maybe only the carrier or the tank cleaning folks or the employees there can identify. And so speaking from that, really all tank trailer confined space entries are going to be permit required confined space.
Did you hear that? You just told these folks that all tank trailer confined spaces are going to be permit required confined spaces. Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
And that was your voice.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you said, right?
Yes, sir.
All tank truck entries, confined space entries are permit required entries, right?
That's what I said, sir.
Yes, sir. And you weren't lying then, were you?
Objective form.
You may answer.
No, sir.
So at the time you gave this talk, you knew then that all tank truck entries were permit required confined space entries, right?
I was speaking in generalities about tank truck entries in our industry.
Yes, sir. Well, you said all.
Yes, sir.
That word, you said all, right?
Yes, sir.
You said all tank truck entries are permit required confined space entries, right?
Yes, sir.
And you agree with that? That was a truthful statement when you made it.
Yes, sir.
And that's still your belief today, right?
When you asked this question earlier, I said there may be some instances where an entry is not permit required.
All right, name one.
If there are no hazards present.
Well, how are you going to know whether there's a hazard present unless you test for it?
Check to the form.
I don't know, sir.
Well, let's listen to this again. I don't know, Madam Court Reporter, if you can get down just like this 25 seconds worth. Let's see.
So we talked about why we do confined space, what hazards are available in or what hazards present in a tank wash. Let's talk about confined space itself and why is that even risky? A few reasons. One, the worker can't easily escape. We're really talking about a permit required confined space for the purpose of this webinar. And what OSHA defines as a permit required confined space is a few elements here. So it contains or has the potential to contain a hazardous atmosphere. It contains a material that has the potential for engulfing the person who's inside. And also it contains some other hazards that we may not be able to distinguish, that maybe only the carrier or the tank cleaning folks or the employees there can identify. And so speaking from that, really all tank trailer confined space entries are going to be permit required confined space because they're.
You heard that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And we got it down now. It's part of the transcript and that's you talking.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you told these folks. All tank entry confined spaces are permit required confined space entries, right?
Objection to form.
You may answer.
I think my exact quote was really all confined spaces are permit entry confined spaces.
Yes, sir. Permit, tank entry permit required confined spaces, right?
Object to form.
I can't remember exactly what I said to that degree.
What you said was you got to complete a tank entry permit before you go in these truck tanks, right?
Yes, sir.
You said all of them, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. It reads here, why is confined space entry risky? This is on that slide at the top. Worker can't easily escape. 2, prior chemicals in the tank. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Why do prior chemicals in the tank make confined space entry risky?
They could be hazardous. The tank may not have been cleaned.
Yes, sir. And the only way to know that is to test for those chemicals, right?
Object to form.
You may answer.
I don't know, sir.
Well, you're not going to know how much styrene is left in a truck tank unless you test for it before you go in it, right?
Back to the form.
You may answer.
I don't know, sir.
Well, tell me how you're going to know without testing for it. List all the ways to know how much styrene is left in a truck tank without testing for it.
Object to form.
I
Go.
don't know, sir.
Well, I want you to tell me all the ways you can tell without testing for it.
Object to the form.
Object to form.
I don't know, sir.
Well, tell me one way to know whether there's styrene in a semi truck tank without testing for it.
Object to the form.
Form.
I don't know, sir.
Well, tell me one way to test to see whether there's benzene in a truck tank without testing for it.
Object to the form.
To form.
I don't know, sir.
Tell me one way to test to see whether formaldehyde is still in a truck tank without testing for it.
Object to the form.
Object to form.
I don't know, sir.
Tell me one way to test to see whether there's MDI in a semi truck tank without testing for it.
Object to the form.
Object to form.
I don't know, sir.
What about for TDI?
Object to the form.
I don't know, sir.
What about diamine diphenyl methane, MDA?
Object to the form.
I don't know, sir.
What about toluene diamine, TDA?
Object to the form.
I don't know, sir.
Now, the next item. Well, we'll just move on.
Helen Hansel was able to win any
All right, so I mentioned nitrogen as capacity. Systems can be difficult to put on.
We're going to go back to your tank entry talk. I don't remember the exhibit number.
I apologize for interrupting. Does anybody need to take a short restroom break?
That's fine. How much time do you need?
5 minutes.
5 minutes works.
Okay. See you in 5.
Great, thank you.
We're going off the record at 12:57 p.m. We're back on the record at 1:05 p.m.
All right, exhibit 19 has been marked and I shared that with everyone. I also emailed that because Bonnie said there may be an issue with that on the chat. But exhibit 19, Mr. Hagler, we've marked the your confined space entry talk, the one we played a portion of as exhibit 19 to your deposition. All right.
Yes, sir.
And now back to, now we're looking at some of the slides from your talk. I don't remember that. What number that is. What number is that?
I think it's exhibit 1, James.
I think we did 12. Well, we did one today too, but I can put, does everybody have that or you want me to put another one in there?
I believe it's exhibit 18.
Okay. So you've got it, right, Bonnie? Everyone else
Yes.
have that? What we're going over now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, so we're going through 18, which are slides from your talk on cleaning tank trailers, safety and confined spaces. And the slides aren't numbered, but we're at the one on the screen. Another reason that confined space entry is needed, you see there, why is confined space entry needed? You go down to the third line, residue that can't be removed with pressure. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
So the residue in the tank would have to be removed by someone going in.
Yes, sir.
And beneath that, internal inspections are required by regulation.
Yes, sir.
That's all. That also requires entry into the semi-truck tanks.
Yes, sir.
And whenever you go in these semi-truck tanks, just like you testified earlier, I mean, you have to complete a tank entry permit, right? It's required for all of them.
Yes, sir.
And on to well, back determining the extent of cleaning needed. Why is confined space entry required to determine the extent of cleaning needed?
Well, if it's been cleaned, you'd have to be able to see residue.
Yes, sir. And you can't see the residue from looking in the single opening in the top of the tank, right?
Not always, sir.
Because these tanks hold roughly 6,000 gallons.
There's varying degrees, but yes, sir.
Yes, sir. In the neighborhood of 6, some more, 7,000, some what, less, maybe 5,000.
Yes, sir.
And they're about how long? What are the dimensions roughly?
I don't know.
Okay. But they're 30 feet long, 8 feet in circumference or in diameter, roughly.
I don't know.
Okay. And there's only a single manhole cover or entryway in the center of the top of the truck tank?
In most of them, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And for you to see whether it's clean, you have to get in there to check, right?
Sometimes, yes, sir.
And you have to have a tank entry permit to do that, right?
Yes, sir.
And to investigate whether it's, quote, truly empty. Those are your words, right? Truly empty. You have to go in the truck tank.
That's what's on the screen, sir.
Well, and that's what you said in your talk too, right? We can play it.
I don't recall the circumstances or the specifics around that.
So are you saying you didn't say that at your talk?
I don't remember.
Okay. Residue that can't be removed with pressure. Sometimes you have chemical and materials that are set up or hardened. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And if they can't be removed by pressure, you just use a single spinner, right?
I don't know.
Okay. You have to go in and remove those, the residue, right?
In some cases, yes, sir.
And if you have to remove the residue, I mean, in your talk, you talked about, which is exhibit 19 to your deposition now, you talked about using scrapers. Is that right?
I'd have to hear it, sir. So we talked about why we do confined space, what hazards are available in or what hazards resident in tank wash. Let's talk about confined space itself and why is that even risky? A few reasons. One, the worker can't easily escape. We're really talking about a permit required confined space for the purpose of this webinar. And what OSHA defines as a permit required confined space is a few elements here. So it contains or has the potential to contain a hazardous atmosphere. It contains a material that has the potential for engulfing the person who's inside. And also it contains some other hazards that we may not be able to distinguish, that maybe only the carrier or the tank cleaning folks or the employees there can identify. And
now this is you we're listening to, right? No one else.
Yes, sir.
So speaking from that, really all tank trailer confined space entries are going to be permit required confined space because there's a prior chemical presence that's inside of there. That's why we test the atmosphere. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then those materials could engulf the person who's inside. And also, it's not easy to get outside of a tank. There's really one way in, one way out. There's slippery surfaces inside as well. So somebody could fall down, hit their head, be incapacitated, even if there's no chemical exposure. You need retrieval systems. And to be fair, retrieval systems can be difficult to put on, can be difficult to operate to get somebody out. They're necessary, they're vital, and they're required, but they can be difficult to use. The last piece here that's important is also nitrogen. So one of the most riskiest things about a confined space entry is nitrogen in tank cleaning. Really because nitrogen is used a lot, especially in chemical bulk trucking. And really, if you look at the whole process, job task observations are just vital to ensure that we have a safe confined space program. Job task observations are the application of behavior-based safety. You've got to know what you're looking for. You've got to watch the process.
All right, for the record, we're moving on to 1658 of your 41-minute presentation. And this is still exhibit 19. Do you see at the top where it reads confined space program elements? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you see where it reads workplace evaluation, space identification?
Yes, sir.
And it reads written policy procedure permitting. See that?
Yes, sir.
And you see in larger, bold, red type atmospheric testing?
Yes, sir.
And there's a large, bold circle or ellipse around atmospheric testing.
Yes, sir.
And that was the only thing I noticed that was enlarged, bold, and circled in your presentation. Do you remember anything else being red, bold, enlarged, and encircled other than on this screen on that's entitled Confined Space Program Elements, where it reads atmospheric testing?
No, sir.
Okay. And you did that presumably because that was important.
Yes, sir.
And what's important is testing the atmosphere before a man, a good, hardworking man goes in a semi-truck tank, right?
Yes, sir.
That's because these truck tanks haul hazardous chemicals.
Object to form.
You may answer.
That's one of the reasons, sir.
Well, what's the other reason?
It was on the slide before this one.
Okay. What was it?
I'd have to go back and see it. There's slippery surfaces.
That's a slide. Well, that's a few slides back, but okay. That's what you talked about earlier, right?
Correct, sir.
But you don't test an atmosphere for slippery surfaces, do you?
No, sir.
Okay, you test an atmosphere for oxygen, lower explosive limits, and toxins, right?
Yes, sir.
Those are contained in the tank entry permit, right?
Yes, sir.
And as far as atmospheric testing, one of the things you have to test for is the hazardous chemical, the toxic chemicals that was in the semi-truck tank, right?
I don't know, sir.
All right, well, let's maybe, is it all right if we list the you, maybe we'll learn
Yes,
the
sir.
answer to that question. All right.
Okay, so like I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, this is not meant to be we're all training to the confined space regulations, OSHA regulations, all those kind of things. This is meant to be some common tips of how to, sorry about that. This is meant to be common tips to make sure that we have an effective program in general. So I'm really going to be talking about atmospheric testing because I think this is really the cornerstone of an effective program. We've got to test the.
So that was you. You just said you're really going to be talking about atmospheric testing because that's really the cornerstone of a safety program, right? A confined space entry program.
Object to form.
Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said that because you meant it?
Yes, sir.
And you made atmospheric testing red and bold and big and circled it because that's the cornerstone, right?
I don't remember who bolded it and circled it, but yes.
Well, you're speaking from this, right?
Yes, sir.
If you didn't want it red or bold or big or encircled, you would have made it none of those things, right?
Correct, sir.
Back to form.
This is a page you used when you gave your talk, right?
Yes, sir.
Atmosphere properly. So there's an order of testing. So when we do the testing, which again is required before we get into a confined space, the atmosphere has to be tested.
So you just said the atmosphere's got to be tested before you get into confined space, right?
Yes, sir.
period. That's not optional, is it?
Correct, sir.
Not ever optional, right?
Object to form.
You may answer.
Yes, sir.
So we have to test first for oxygen, second for a flammable material, and third for any toxic levels. And so for those of you that don't know, the atmospheric testing you're going to do with a small device. We do it prior to any entry. It's also done throughout the entry as well. It's done continuously, but that device may have a straw on the end of it. It's what it's called, a tube of some sort that reaches into that trailer. And we'll talk.
Now that's the Venus Pro, right? That's depicted in this slide that's entitled Atmospheric Testing Requirements.
I don't know.
All right.
Where you measure or where you test the atmosphere in the trailer in a minute, but this is what the device looks like. You can see it right here, but we've got to test throughout the entry because things can change. We can run into a pocket of nitrogen, a pocket of something that's there that we may not have seen beforehand. And also, this is where stratification.
A pocket of something that you may not have seen beforehand, like a chemical that was in the truck tank.
It could be, yes, sir.
Comes into stratification is those pockets of air. We there, Boyd? Oh, we had a technical difficulty there for a minute. I had a lot of feedback.
I think that may be our third presenter. We've got him in and he's just trying to log in his audio, but keep going. And once we've got him hooked in, we'll move forward on that.
Okay, thanks, Boyd. So moving along, just the stratification, this is a pretty busy slide right here, but bottom line is there are some things that rise in an atmosphere and some things that level at the bottom. Nitrogen tends to sit at the bottom of in this example, a cargo tank. So nitrogen is going to sit at the bottom.
The stratification, you're talking about stratification of atmosphere because some of the hazardous chemicals are heavier than air and some are lighter than air. Is that right?
That's correct, but we're getting into the slides that I didn't prepare and I wasn't supposed to speak to.
Okay. Is this the one stratification of atmosphere?
That's correct.
But you did speak to it.
I did, yes, sir.
But all the previous slides you were there to speak about, right?
I don't remember where the cutoff is, sir.
Okay. Well, the first one you remember is stratification of atmospheres, right?
Yes, but we haven't looked at all the other slides.
We'll look at them. So back to this is your slide, the OFT order of testing, right?
Yes, I don't remember preparing this slide either.
I didn't ask you whether you remembered it. You talked about the order of testing and you said the order of testing is oxygen, flammable, and toxic, right?
Object to form.
That was your
Yes,
testing,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
And the third one, toxic, can you see that? I'll make that a little larger.
Yes, sir.
Toxic. Many modern instruments provide simultaneous readings of multiple gases. You see that? Readings should be less than recognized ACGIH. What is ACGIH?
I don't know.
Exposure limits or other published exposure levels. OSHA. What is OSHA?
Occupational Safety and Health Administration.
And PELs. What are PELs?
I don't remember the acronym.
Okay. What is NIOSH?
I don't remember exactly what the acronym is.
And
National Institute of
RELs?
something.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Say again, please.
National Institute of something.
Yes, sir. And what is RELs?
I don't remember the acronym.
But these are, okay. They're exposure limits though, right? If you know.
I don't know.
Okay. Now, you're the only presenter on this, right?
I don't remember. I thought at some point Mr. Wright jumped in.
Okay. But he hasn't yet. But he was supposed to jump in somewhere around stratification. Is that your recollection?
I think before that,
Okay, where before that?
I recall preparing to discuss nitrogen. And then after that, I don't believe I was supposed to present. But as you heard in here, there were some technical difficulties.
Yeah, what do the technical difficulties have to do with, the only person we've heard is you, right?
Yes, sir.
Objective form?
Okay, what do the technical difficulties have to do with what you told these folks? Or what slides you presented?
Well, there was another presenter that was scheduled to present some of these slides
Uh-huh.
and prepared some of these slides.
And
That's it. I wasn't prepared to present all of these slides, nor did I create all of them.
all right. Oh, Madam Court Reporter, what exhibit number are we, please?
The next one will be 20.
Thank you. Show you what's been previously marked as exhibit 20. Do you recall a Keith Haas?
No, sir.
Do you recall signing a Trimac Transportation OSHA document?
Yes, sir.
1506923. Does that ring a bell?
No, sir.
Okay. Show you what's been marked as exhibit 21 to your deposition. You see on page 5 of 17, is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Lance Hagler. dated
Yes, sir.
7/1/21, Director of Safety and Security, Trimac Transportation, Inc. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what you signed was a settlement agreement with OSHA.
Yes, sir.
All right. Total penalty was $12,392.40.
Yes, sir.
I'll show you what's been previously marked as 2020, Exhibit 22. Is that right, Madam Court Reporter?
That's correct.
Exhibit 22 to your deposition. That's your signature as well.
Yes, sir.
Also in July 1, 2021.
Yes, sir.
Also for OSHA violations.
It's a settlement agreement for violation cited. Yes, sir.
And you signed both of these on behalf of Trimac Transportation.
Yes, sir.
This is 23. Show you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 23. Inspection 152060301 Trimac Transportation, Inc. Gessmer, Louisiana. I believe you testified earlier that you had a role in this investigation as well. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's an ongoing investigation.
Yes, sir.
This is 24. This is a recent unannounced investigation we discussed last time as well, right?
Objective form.
You may answer.
I'm not sure what I'm looking at, sir.
This is the inspection detail published by OSHA for Trimac Transportation, Inc., inspection number 1625123.015. LaPorte, Texas. Open date 9/28/2022.
Okay.
You don't remember discussing this last time?
Yes, sir. I just wasn't sure what I was looking at, sir.
You said that you expected this because someone was injured in the wash rack. Is that right?
No, sir. I said I wasn't surprised.
You weren't surprised because there was an injury in the wash rack?
Object to the form.
You may answer.
I wasn't surprised that there was an inspection because an injury was reported to OSHA.
And what was that? You didn't have any recollection of the injury, right?
That's correct, sir.
You agree that in order for a confined space, a transportation tank to be clean, dry, and odor-free, it requires entry to remove residue?
I don't know.
Okay. That residue can't be removed with pressure?
Objective form.
I don't know when residue can be removed and exactly how.
You testified earlier that Ken Cooper was an expert on confined space entry and tank entry permits?
Objective form.
Yes, sir.
Where did you first learn that? Where did you come up with that?
I don't know.
Did somebody tell you to say that at your deposition?
No, sir.
Did someone tell you that he was an expert?
No.
Who told you he was an expert?
Objective form.
That was my answer to your question, sir.
I said, who told you he was an expert?
Nobody that I can recall.
Well, you already testified it's not on any written document anywhere that you're aware of. So did you come up with this idea that Ken Cooper's an expert?
Objective form.
You may answer.
Based on my knowledge and experience.
What knowledge and experience? List all the knowledge and experience that you have that indicates to you that Ken Cooper's an expert in confined space entry, specifically transportation tanks.
Object to the form.
Objective form.
In his role, he deals with tank cleaning all day, every day that he's at work, and deals with confined space entry frequently.
Uh-huh.
And he has had a role in crafting policy, procedure. And so his experience and his knowledge, I see as expert level.
Okay. And you're aware that you graduated from undergrad, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're aware that Ken Cooper only completed a single semester of undergraduate? Single semester of college?
I don't know that, sir.
He doesn't have a college degree of any sort. You're aware of that or not aware of that?
I was not aware of that, sir.
Were you aware that he testified that he would climb into a truck tank that contained MDI that they were cleaning and didn't require a mask?
Objective form.
You may answer.
No, sir.
Said that masks are not required for MDI. Are
Objective
you aware of
form.
that?
Objective form.
No, sir.
You agree MDI is a hazardous chemical?
Yes, sir.
You agree that MDI is acutely toxic?
Objective form.
I don't know.
It's also a known carcinogenic chemical.
Objective form.
You may answer.
I don't know, sir.
Have you ever been in a semi-truck tank, a transportation tank?
No, sir.
Would you go in one that contained MDI?
Object to the form.
I wouldn't go in one at all, sir,
Okay, why is that?
because I haven't been certified, and based on my experience, that's not what I would do.
Okay. Do you want to go in one?
No, sir.
Why not?
That's not the job and career path that I've chosen, sir.
You agree that these semi-truck tanks are big, expensive pieces of equipment used for long term?
Can you define what long-term means?
That's a quote from you. Do you agree with that? Your statement or not?
Objection.
Objection.
Show them the quote if you want them to comment on it.
Yes, I'd like to see where I said that, sir.
It's in your presentation. You can't see it, you can hear it.
Can I hear that, sir?
Not right now, no. We've got other things to cover first.
Okay.
You disagree with that statement?
Objective form.
You may answer.
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Could you read it back, please, Madam Court Reporter?
Question, you agree that the semi-truck tanks are a big, expensive piece of equipment and used for long term?
Yes, I'd agree with that.
All right. You agree that the best way to ensure safety regarding confined spaces, particularly transportation tanks, is to, quote, eliminate the need for entry?
Yes, sir.
And tell me all the steps that Trimac has taken to eliminate the need for entry into transportation tanks.
We've evaluated camera technology and drone technology that goes inside the tank to view it.
You've not used camera technology or drone technology at the wash rack at Trimac, Fairburn, right?
I don't know.
Nor
All
in
right,
Atlanta.
Mr.
Right.
Potts, it's
Yes,
been
sir.
7 hours, and so we're going to depart at this time. Appreciate you.
Well, I haven't completed my deposition, but regardless, you're adjourning the deposition. You're saying that pursuant to, what is it, USCR? You know the number?
I don't know the number. I just know that 7 hours is the number. So we're happy to comply with any court order. But otherwise, we're going to adjourn at this time.
We'll take it up in court. And I appreciate you being here, Mr. Hagler, and be safe, gentlemen. And thank you,
Hey,
Bonnie.
before you go, Mr. Potts, can you send Exhibit 16 to the chat?
Which one is that?